So this is the first course I've taken that is really looking into ethics, morality, religion, and the professional code of ethics. And so I've never really explored how each of these plays a role in my life and the choices that I make and the decisions that I make daily. That being said, I believe that ethics does play a pretty large role in my day-to-day life and the decisions that I make. I try and make decisions that'll be seen as ethically correct, so that way anybody else that would be impacted by my choices would understand why I'm making the choices that I do. For me, this could be anything like following laws, like not breaking speed limits, not stealing, to anything even more extreme than that. Like, I believe that ethics impacts my choices and the way that I carry myself because I want to be seen as someone that's living like ethically correct and not looking to do harm like to themselves or others with the choices that they make. Something that I really wish to understand more is the difference between ethics and morality, as those tend to blur into each other with my basic understanding as of now. But I do believe that morality plays potentially a bigger role in my current life and my decision making than ethics even does, as I have a pretty high moral standard for myself. And so I always try and make choices that I believe are like the morally correct option. For example, like if somebody were to drop something on the street while they're walking or like in a hallway going between classes, rather than picking that item up and keeping it for myself, like I'm going to try and return it to them so that it could get back to like its rightful owner. There's a lot more examples in morality that I can think of where I'm going to try and do things to uphold a certain standard to myself, and I want others to know that I'm going to hold myself to a certain standard. And so I really value like my own personal morals and like my beliefs and my opinions. Religion also plays a very large role in my life and my decision making. You know, I'm a Christian, and so I know that that impacts the way that I'm thinking and the way that I carry myself, along as with what my values and my opinions are. I know that from each religion from one to the next, like there's very large differences in what they believe, what they hold as valuable, and like what they see as very important and how they want to treat themselves and others. And so I think that my religious background and the way that I was brought up plays a very large role in the way that I try and carry myself and the way that I attempt to treat and interact with others in society. And so I believe that out of all of these, like religion has a very deep-rooted impact on the way that we go about our day-to-day lives. I also believe that the professional code of ethics is very important, as I know that there are many jobs that rely on this professional code of ethics to uphold a certain standard. Anything in the medical field, for example, like they have their own professional codes of ethics where they're going to prioritize patient care and honesty, but they're also going to keep like patient confidentiality and those sort of things in a very high standard. Other professions such as like lawyers and like law, like stuff involving laws, like they have their own source of ethics, and the way that ethics varies from job to job is very different. I don't have a very deep understanding of the difference between the professional code of ethics from one job to the next, but as someone that's interested in working in the medical field, like I have a background in that area and the way that they're supposed to carry themselves and like what they consider ethically correct versus what is incorrect. And I hope that I can learn more about how all jobs, like their role in like the professional ethics affects the decisions that they make on a day-to-day basis. For this assignment, my design was, I was using information that I had learned from other courses and just like my experiences working different jobs, and through religion, like what I've learned about my own religion as well as other people's religions, because I have friends that come from different religious backgrounds, and so getting their insight on what their values are, what their beliefs are, and how they try and carry themselves has provided me with a little bit of background and different perspective on like how it can vary from one religion to the next. I also know that other people have very different moral codes. Like some people will be okay with other things that other people are not, and that has a lot to do with their background, how they were brought up, and their own personal beliefs. I didn't use any sort of ChatGPT or any AI or anything like this for that project. I did use the resources listed on our class discussion forum, just like some of those readings, some of those videos to help me get a better understanding of like what ethics is, what morality is, and how those things and religion can impact our daily choices and like our day-to-day lives.